there it is, folks. Welcome once again into the Paranormal Portal. I'll be your guide, your safari leader through the realms of the strange and unusual into the world of the Paranormal Portal. So, hope you guys are having a good weekend. It's just started. You made it. It's all here and underway. It sounds like my headphones are a little wonky. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm hearing me more through this one than this one. Maybe I just need a Q-tip. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Paranormal Portal. As always, as we jump into our Friday show, just so you know, Sheldon will not be joining us tonight. It's just you and me. And so you guys are the co-hosts. You guys are my co-hosts tonight. And so it's up to you to keep the conversation going. It's all your job. That's what a co-host does. That's weird. Wonder what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds weird. Hey, Shagster Graves, good to see you. Or Shagster Graves, welcome. And appreciate you stopping in and checking out the stream over on Twitch. Hello to everybody. Lenda, Kitty Cattywack, Wizard Moon, Paranormal Discussion with Mickey. Who else? BJ Lapierre's here. I'm scrolling and looking, seeing if I can see the names. Rachel is here, of course. And I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Susie writes here. Hoggle's here. A lot of ohs, Yeah, that's how I roll. Deborah Neighbors is in the house. Good to see you, Deborah Neighbors. Thanks for coming in. Josie is here with her new old picture where she's blonde. She's a blonde. That's right. They say they have more fun. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't notice it when I was blonde back in the day, but, I was a kid. I was a little kid. I've had like every hair color. When I was born, my hair was like almost white blonde. It was just really, really light blonde. Then it went brown, then it went really dark brown, and then it started salt and peppering, and now it's white, until I found time in a bottle and color it. That makes me reclaim my youth, if you will. Aussie Boss Tiger is here. Good to see you, brother. I'm just scrolling, looking for names, and I know it's early. The show takes a while for people to funnel in from whatever they're doing on a Friday night, and I think it's just really cool that you guys take your Friday nights, which are, for most of us, are a very sacred night. It's the first release from a long week of work, and we get to hang out, and you do it here, and that means the world to me. Sharon Sunshine's in here. Good to see you, Sharon. Let's see. I think that's all I got so far in the chat. I'm going to go back to the bottom and see who's been talking and coming in. Delilah's here. Good to see you. Quack is here. How you doing, Quack? Nice to meet you. I don't know, unless that's a rebrand. Maybe that's not maybe it's not a new name to the show, but it's a new name to me. So, first time listener, says Shagster. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and please feel free to follow on Twitch. We have, there's people that are following me over there, but they just never seem to find my live shows. But we are also broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Rumble. So there's lots of opportunities. If you're more into a chatting experience, you can join one of those other rooms. Otherwise, you can be the sole survivor over on Twitch, making us representing, if you will. So that's fine as well. You don't have to go anywhere, but just thanks for checking out the show. That means the world to me. Over in the Rumble, we've got HB Girl to You is over there. Card Juice is over there. Justin Good Earth is there, as is Barbara Mora, who is not absent tonight. God bless you, Barbara. We missed you. I missed all the What the Hell Is That, my favorite. That's okay. I got a fresh batch of What the Hell Is That lined up for you guys tonight. So that's good. Aggravated Progressive is here on the YouTube. Jeremy is here. I think Karen Alberting came in. Good to see you, Karen. Elaine Clifford is here. All right. So Two Shadows is in the house. Is that a new name? I think that's a new name too. It's weird. Maybe not. Maybe again. Brent Van Hoen is here. Groovy. I'll check it out. Thanks, Shagster. Appreciate that, brother. Everybody's welcome, and spread the word. I don't know if you got any influence in the Twitch community, but I'll tell you what, I've been broadcasting over on Twitch for about a year and a half, and it's literally like Nobody notices. It's a big zoo over there, though. I got to admit, and it's a different format. So maybe this isn't the right format for Twitch, but I like Twitch. I like watching some streamers over there. So I thought, well, can put a presence there. It's another flag in the wind for the Paranormal Portal. And maybe people will find it. Hey, Roman Daniels, good to see you. Roman and Jaron just got back from an investigation. They did a whole bunch of locations. I'm waiting to hear the update on that, what you guys had and what you found and the evidence and all that. They did what the hell is a Goldfield Hotel? That's where basically Ghost Adventures got their start when they did their original documentary. They were at the Goldfield Hotel. And that's where in the basement they caught that video of the board and the brick or whatever flying. And that's where Roman and Jaron just were this last weekend. So pretty cool. That and a number of other places. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about your adventures. And maybe we'll have to get you on and you can talk about it. We got a trailer coming soon. Roman says, good deal. Good deal. The Shagster Man is over on YouTube now. Okay, very good. Send good energy to all. God bless you. We need all the good energy we can get. Unacknowledged Unknown is in the house. Welcome. That's very cool. That sounds like a show. You got a show? Is that what your show is called? Unacknowledged Unknown? That's cool. Let us know. Always looking for more stuff. Josie's got another picture. Josie, you're making this like a scrapbook here. That's cool. I mean, they're good pictures. Don't get me wrong. I just, Undead Jed's in the house as well. And so there we go. All right. I think that's all the hellos I can do for now, but we got to get to the news and go through the 3 stories that I pulled up for your news, adventures, and information. And then, of course, we're going to get to an article over on Listverse. Maybe I'll have you vote. I'm not sure. I know we got some options to choose from. It's been kind of fun to let you guys pick the article and just go with that. But then we're going to get to what the hell is that? And then the cryptid corner. So there's a lot of going on tonight. There's a lot going on. I really don't know why I'm getting most of this through the middle. It's not panned. You know, on your headphones, if you got a higher end system, you can pan left or right. And that's the balance of sound between the two speakers. But yeah, for some reason, it seems to be mostly coming through my right. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I got an ear popped that I didn't know about. But anyway, hey, Big D came in over on the Rumble. Good to see you. But it's time for the news, folks. Are you ready to get informed and educated and entertained? Hopefully entertained. All I can do is try. You're getting this show. Remember, this show is absolutely unrehearsed and unscripted. So you get it in its absolutely raw, organic form. And sometimes that works out okay, and other times it could be better. But it's all fun anyway. We have a good time with it. So let's get to the news and find out what the hell's going on in the world around us. And maybe in your world. I don't know. Some of these articles might be in your backyard. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. Ladies and gentlemen, the news. The news.
All the news you love, from the wild to the weird to the fascinating or interesting, with your host Brent Thomas.
That's me. That's what you're getting. Mark Eddy's in here. How you doing, Mark Eddy? Enjoying the show over on Facebook, as with Roman. Roman and Mark Eddy are over on Facebook. Good to see you guys. And Mark Eddy, of course, is one half of the Third Eye Live broadcast on YouTube as well with Brian Bowden, and a wonderful guy. Both wonderful guys. Check out their show as well. So I guess, wonder where T-Bone is tonight. Yeah, we're always missing someone. Wednesday was Barbara, now tonight's T-Bone. I mean, I know this isn't the only dance in town, but I will tell you guys, a lot of you guys have been checking out Spaced Out Radio following the show on Friday and Wednesday nights, but Dave is actually over at a convention in San Francisco, so he doesn't have a live show tonight, but I'm sure you can find plenty of episodes to entertain yourself over on his videos on demand. So definitely can still do it, and it will be just like watching it live. Or you can check out Third Eye Live with Mark Eddy and Brian Bowden if you haven't heard that one, or check out Supernatural Station. there's lots of great shows around the course. And of course, Josh Casto's show is out there too. And so there's lots of things to watch. Oh yeah. Now that I know what SOR is, there you go, BJ. Absolutely. So welcome to the news desk of the Paranormal Portal. And this is where we dive into news stories. And if you're brand new to the show, this is the Ghost Radar. So that is hooked up to my computer tower, which is actually right down by my leg here, lower underneath my desk. And it uses technology that every wireless device has, and it's called a magnetometer. And a magnetometer is basically how your computer and tablets or phones or whatever communicate wirelessly. But magnetometers can also detect electromagnetic variations. And so if you see on this little screen, this little circle screen under my finger, if you see a dot appear, that is allegedly, or at least possibly, a ghostly spirit. Now, it's just an electromagnetic variation or anomaly. It's an oddity. Could be paranormal, but it also could be something else. I don't ever mean to suggest that, hey, if a dot appears there, that's got to be a spirit, because it could be any number of things, but it might be spirit. Now, this app also has a word database built in as well, and it may generate words that are apparently triggered by some fluctuation in the EM as well. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it works, but sometimes it spits out some surprisingly relevant stuff, and other times it's just absolutely random, just like a random word. Like we'll just be talking and suddenly it'll say zipper, or something. I don't know. So I'm not saying just because it's on screen you should believe that there is spirits coming and going, but there might be. There might be. The show is never about making you believe anything, so don't worry. I'm not trying to force feed my views onto you, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. So entertain that however you wish. So anyway, we've got a lot to get to. Random nonsense sometimes, yeah, Jose. Absolutely. Now, throughout the course of the show, as you're watching, I utilize a lot of different websites, and these websites are incredibly well done, and I absolutely advocate and support these sites, and they provide endless sources of incredible information for us to read and discuss. So please support these sites. Please visit them. Please give them your love. These sites are incredibly well done, and your traffic equals revenue for these channels, so please support them. Please get involved in their communities, and if you leave a message, let them know the portal sent you. I'd appreciate it. It's just they're doing it as well as I've ever found online, so got to give them the love they deserve. All right, here we go on the first article of the night. Looks like there was a little, there's a fluctuation going on right now. See the bars, right? Those squiggle lines? That means it's some kind of anomaly being detected. But it's not necessarily a spirit, but it's detecting something in the R flux. I'm not sure what R flux is, pulse energy. R flux pulse energy, and the bottom bar underneath this top one is the wave sensor. I don't know what either of those mean, but it seems pretty cool. I don't know. Looks cool anyway. So you be the judge. All right, let's get to the stories of the news that we've got coming up. Yes, Unexplained-Mysteries. Unexplained-Mysteries, Roman, you got it right. This is the site that I rely on for the Paranormal Portal news because it is incredibly done. Well done. I've got my partner in crime, my fur baby Taco. You named your dog Taco? That's hilarious. Awesome. That's funny. Hey, Werewolf, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. All right, let's get to the first story tonight. This is coming from a site that I just mentioned, and Roman just mentioned as well, but it's called unexplained-mysteries.com, and this one has to do with archaeology and history. Not too long. It's a perfect size for a good first article. Here we go. I'm going to have to reframe this a little bit. Oh, my Pikachu's still in here. How did you get in here? I didn't even know you were in here. I might have to let my cat out in just a sec. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were out. I thought you were gone. There. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go. They don't like being trapped in the studio. And I'd be remiss to keep them away from a litter pan. So, all right, because then I'll be dealing with the fruits of my labor. All right, here we go for the first article. I've almost got it framed up. I was like, what's that white thing over to be next to me? It's my cat. That's hilarious. Here we go. Bermuda Triangle hunt for lost plane yields unexpected discovery. I didn't even know they were still hunting for planes over there, but apparently they are. Let's check out the article and see what it says. Divers accompanied by a TV crew had been scouring parts of the infamous region for a World War II plane wreckage. An expansive ocean of the North Atlantic that spans the area between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the Bermuda Triangle, needs little introduction. It's true. We all know what that is. Over the years, the region has become synonymous with the unexplained disappearances of ships and airplanes, often with no trace of them or their crews ever being found. Back in 2022, the History Channel crew, alongside a team of expert divers, set out to find the wreckage of a long-lost plane that went down off the east coast of Florida during the Second World War. Things seemed to be looking up when the team identified what appeared to be pieces of an aircraft on the seafloor. But when they went down to take a closer look, what they found shocked them. I don't even know what this is going to say, so I'm learning right along with you. The debris was unlike anything they'd ever seen before. It consisted of strange tiles that didn't look like they belonged to any known aircraft. Puzzled, the divers went back down for another look, and then they decided to contact NASA. Ooh. Sounds interesting. It turned out what they had found was not a lost World War II aircraft. It was a significant piece of the Space Shuttle Challenger that was lost just 73 seconds into its ascent in 1973. Oh, wow. The accident, which was caused by a fatal design flaw, cost the lives of all 7 of its crew members. This discovery gives us an opportunity to pause once again to uplift the legacies of the 7 pioneers we lost and to reflect on how this tragedy changed us, former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said at the time. At NASA, the core value of safety is and must remain forever our top priority, especially as our missions explore more of the cosmos than ever before. Yeah, well, it looks like all they explored was the fish on that one. That's not good. I thought it said 1973, but I'm pretty sure I was in. I don't know. I think I was, like, isn't that when the school teacher went up with them and didn't come back, and that it just kind of blew up as it went up. If that's the one, I thought that I was in middle school or something by then, or at least middle or high school. I thought when that blew up, but maybe it's a different one. Maybe that was a different one. I don't know. But anyway, whatever the case is, that's it. Oh, that was Columbia, 1983. Yes, thank you, Barbara. That helps. Because I was like, I think I was older, because I was just a wee little lad in 73. But that's just kind of dating myself, I guess. But what can I say? I've been on this rock a while. It's getting longer all the time. Exceptionally long. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, there you go. I guess they found part of it. That's a good thing. I guess they can recover that and maybe learn some information. I don't know what you do with it, but or a memorial or something. I don't know. But there it is. That's the first article. I didn't know that before today. And maybe you didn't either. So we learned it together. That's the beauty of the Portal News. All right. Let's get to the next article. And this one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. Everybody's excited. In fact, I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine about robots and androids and things like that coming into more common use and maybe becoming more available to as part of our everyday lives. And you know, we're both, I think, anxious and looking forward to that possibility, but also maybe guarded a little bit because you're introducing something completely new into our world. But I think it all comes with, you know, a fair bit of risk. But this one seems to take it to a different level. I don't know if this would qualify as a risk, but it's certainly an anomaly. Here we go from unexplained-mysteries.com. Science and technology files. I don't know how long this one is. Yeah, it's not too long. It's fine. It comes with a video, so we'll get a chance to look at the video of it too. This is dancing robot goes nuts and causes chaos in California restaurant. There you go. Just about time for some of that. There's going to be a lot more of that before this is done. Don't worry. A robot, somebody's going to get vacuumed. Somebody's just going to get sucked into a shop vac or something stupid. Sorry, I got a crispy there. I've been here longer than you, Brent. I went to your page to get the link for tonight and saw your birthday. You're a young one. I don't think young and me belongs in the same sentence, but thank you. That's fine. I mean, I don't for the most part mind getting older, but I also don't like the aches and pains that come with this aging stuff. All right, a robot that had been showing off its dance moves to customers ended up getting a little too excited. It's probably no exaggeration to say that robots are likely going to be everywhere within a few years. What? Meaning that scenes such as this will also be a lot more commonplace before too long. That's what I just said. I think so. At first, everyone enjoyed the robot's dance moves, but then the excitable contraption got a little bit too enthusiastic and a little bit too close to one of the tables, resulting in it swinging its arms on top of plates and dishes, sending food and mess everywhere. Employees quickly rushed to restrain the machine, but actually struggled to do so. In the end, it required several people to stop the robot from wildly swinging its arms around. The problem was exacerbated by the fact that the controls only seemed to be available via mobile app. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? While the incident was quite amusing to watch, it did strike a chord with quite a few social media users who questioned why it was so difficult to disable the robot. It's certainly a fair concern. It shouldn't take multiple people to restrain a dancing robot. Imagine if this was some sort of heavy-duty industrial robot or even a robot designed for combat. Building an easily accessible off switch into every unit should be really a legal requirement. Well, looks like it must have been over in Asia, which I guess makes sense. Where did it say it was? It was a Heidi Lau hot pot restaurant in San Jose, California. Okay, so it was over here in the States, but let's take a look. This is coming from NBC News YouTube channel with 11.9 million subscribers. Let's see what's going on here. Everybody ready? We're about to get informed and hopefully entertained. Let's take a look.
This is the moment things started heating up in Cupertino, California. At this hot pot restaurant, a humanoid robot's attempt to bust a move just going bust. Items flying in the air. Restaurant workers appearing to try to rein in the robot with little luck.
He's like, you can't stop my groove. You cannot stop my groove. Let's see how this ends.
The way this played out, it's funny, but what are the potential risks of...
It's like trying to bring your drunk friend home after the bar. It's like, come on, dude, we had enough. Yeah, I'm not done. I feel the rhythm.
A robot like that going haywire in a tight restaurant setting?
No, my reaction was first laughter, and then I immediately said out loud, this is very scary and very unsafe. I wouldn't worry too much about this robot sort of going rogue and leaving the restaurant and doing anything. I think it's just much more of a physical fear here.
NBC News chief tech analyst Joanna Stern says this humanoid should have a...
She's totally got the phone app out. She's like, no, it's not working.
Kill switch that its operators do not seem to know how to use.
It was likely on in entertainment or dance mode, and then something just went wrong in terms of the connection.
This Bay Area scene, just the latest reminder that technological leaps come with headaches.
Boom!
This Russian humanoid debuted with a faceplant. Oh. These Chinese soccer playing robots are not ready for prime time either. But still, many companies are racing toward the future of tech. In China, these robots are even helping police. But Stern says both the hardware and AI have room to grow.
This can be a huge billion-trillion-dollar business for companies all over the world. But
there you go. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but that's an introduction into phase one of robots in your world. In your world, in your kitchens, in your houses, in your malls, in your businesses. They're going to be everywhere. They're going to be driving. They're already driving. They got driving cars, do it all, And those generally have worked out so far okay, but there's been a few crashes and fatalities from those too. So this is one of those things that we're not getting through this without a pretty painful learning curve, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just going to suggest, this is my fix, EMP fix that dancing bot. Yeah, this is my suggestion. Never be in phase one of the rollout of anything that can kill you. And I'm sure a robot can kill us. I don't know. Don't be the early adopter. Wait for that stuff to filter through some updates. It's kind of like Windows. You don't ever roll out the new upgrade until after the first or second service pack. Then you kind of think, well, okay, they probably got everything mostly ironed out. But yeah, right off the bat, it's technology just never quite does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, the Terminator song. Absolutely, Jaron. You're absolutely right. It's all fun and games, and then until then, John. Yeah. Amen. Well, there you go. Hi, Maggie. Good to see you. Give the robot a gun. Yeah, I think that's the last thing robots need right now. But there you go. Just never be on phase one. Wait till like phase 4, 5, maybe, after they've rolled them out. They've got some actual usage records, and then you can adopt the technology and better your life. I'm just saying. That's why, I don't know. Swinging, flailing limbs that are metal, they're not soft. That's like baseball bats. And I realized it wasn't going really fast, but that robot just wanted to dance. That's all. It was like, had some ABBA song cooking and just was going for it, just cutting it out. So there you go. That's our future right there, folks. Buckle up. It's going to get good. All right, let's get to the last story of the night here on the news. And this one comes from Science and Technology. And I guess this is something. I think most everybody's familiar with the term cryogenics, and that's the practice of people that maybe have a terminal illness, and they're like, well, they can't solve it now, but why don't you freeze me, and then when you guys figure this out, just thaw me out and fix this. That should be fine. And there are already farms of people that have been frozen in whatever state they're in, and looking for that upgrade of our medical knowledge that they can be thawed out and live the remainder of their life, I guess, healthy. But the weird thing is that a lot of people jumped into the freezer, and I don't think they really ever sorted out how to thaw people out. Like they can put you in, in the deep freeze in a hurry, liquid nitrogen, and boom, you're like the proverbial rose petals, frozen solid. But after that, they got to actually thaw you out, and you got to keep working. The things that keep you alive have to be able to work. So let's check this one out from unexplained-mysteries.com. Last article of the night: scientists move one step closer to reviving a cryopreserved brain. Okay, you might want to. This is the thing about early adopters again. This is kind of my theme tonight, I guess. Don't be the first one to get frozen until they actually figure out how to unfroze you. When they figure out how to thaw you out and you'll be working condition again. Yeah, just wait till they work through a few generations of that. Here we go. Let's see what it says. Researchers have succeeded, and this is a success in partially reviving the frozen brain tissue of a mouse for the first time. See, you'd think they'd want to work that out before they start freezing stuff. Nope, apparently not. Every year, thousands of people around the world with enough money sign up for cryopreservation, a method of freezing the human body or brain after death in the hope that one day in the far future, Science will have advanced enough to thaw them out, cure their ailments, and restore them to life. Why not? Let's just be eternal. We'll all be Highlanders. Entire facilities have sprung up containing countless rows of containment units housing such individuals whose remains wait at sub-zero temperatures for a day that they can live again. The trouble is, nobody has actually figured out exactly how to revive someone from this state. Typical cryopreservation tends to cause ice crystals to form inside the damage the body's delicate cells. Yeah, there is an issue. I mean, there's certainly some amphibians and stuff that can be frozen, and they have almost like a natural antifreeze in their cells. So even though the temperature goes down a lot to below freezing, the cells don't actually crystallize, because when water freezes, and there's water in every cell in your body, it's going to crystallize, and water also expands as it freezes, so it's going to rupture cell walls and stuff, and so it's not an ideal situation, and flash freezing should minimize that, but, maybe not. All right, one way that scientists attempting to avoid this problem is through a process known as vitrification, which replaces water with a concoction of chemicals designed to preserve the body's tissues in a sort of solid glass-like substance that doesn't cause the same damage as water and ice does. So they just figured this out. You know what that means? The people that already did it and they're sitting in a tube somewhere in the freezer, they didn't get this. So they didn't get the vitrification at all. So they just went into it cold, like, okay, freeze me. And there might be nothing they could do then. Now researchers in Germany have reported that for the first time they've been able to at least partially restore the brain tissue of a mouse that had undergone this process. While the experiment wasn't quite a complete success, the team found that some of the brain tissue samples exhibited the restoration of the neural processes critical to memory and learning. Perhaps the most important benefit of the team's findings, however, is not the cryopreservation of entire bodies, but in advancing the field of preserving organs for donation. Okay. Well, they're going to be 3D printing those just from stem cells before long. It really does become possible to perfectly preserve living human tissue. It would be a monumental achievement. As for the people frozen in cryopreservation facilities, they're going to have to wait a bit longer. Yeah, they're going to have to wait a lot longer. There you go. I don't know. I never heard about this. I guess I didn't know that they really didn't know how to warm them up again. I figured they would have known that, but I learned that today. So there you go. That's the takeaway. Don't get frozen. They're not ready for it. And for all you guys that did, man, just try again. Do over. Do over. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This has been I didn't want that. I wanted this. This has been the news. And
Spy.
What does that say? It says spy. Are any of you a spy? Are you spying on this show? Ghostbox says spy. Anyone? Okay, because the ghosts are watching. I'm just saying. If you are, you're welcome to spy. I don't care. But there you have it. That's the news. All right, we got a lot of show to get back to, so without further delay, let's get on with the rest of the show. All right, here we go.
When breaking news happens, Paranormal Portal is there.
It's not looking so good out here, Brent.
Award-winning and most trusted news.
Brent, the thief broke into the donut shop in the middle of the night. Be on the lookout. The man is in his late 60s, heavy set, and wearing some kind of hat.
First, live, local.
Is this a paranormal show? Why am I doing the weather?
This is Paranormal Portal News.
Well, there you go. This is the Paranormal Portal, and not just the news, but the whole enchilada, the whole burrito right here. And we got to get to an article now from Listverse that I've pulled up, and I've got a few to choose from. Now, I guess we're going to have to do this in votes. I think I want to do this one, though. I think I want to do this one. I've had this one open for a while, And I think this one sounds kind of interesting. It's from Listverse. We've been going through these Listverse articles, and they're really exceptional. Head over to listverse.com and check out Listverse, because there's lists for just about anything you could be interested in. So definitely check it out. But I think it's a pretty awesome site. We've been going through several of these lately, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, they're a little bit older, some of these articles, but they're still fantastic. So it's just such a good work, and I like these articles because they're top 10. It's basically 10 of this, 10 of that. That's what the lists are. And it's a lot of fun to go through these different ones with all these weird topics. So tonight's one that we're going to do is 10 weird court cases featuring supernatural beings. I don't know what to expect here. I don't know. This should be pretty interesting, though, because I was just thinking, I've heard thousands and thousands of stories in the 10 years of doing this show. And I was thinking, have I heard any court cases that involved or referenced to any supernatural beings? And I don't know that I have. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind. So I'm sure all 10 of these are going to be brand new to me, or at least most of them. So this should be interesting and fun. And fun is my middle name, as far as you know. All right. So let's get to this. This is the new Listverse article we're covering tonight. Looks like it's framed up kind of okay. There we go. I think that should do it. Going to have to chop off Listverse a little bit up there. It's on the right under the Paranormal Portal logo, though. This is listverse.com. 10 weird court cases featuring supernatural beings. What more could you want? Hey, David Barnes. Good to see you, brother. I was going to clean my robot. Then I got, what is that? You got gas? What is that? Or does that mean tired, Linda? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying here. Okay. Oh, your room, not your robot. Okay. I thought you misspelled robot and said robot. Okay. But good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. All right, let's get to this article and see what you guys think. 10 weird court cases featuring supernatural beings. This is from 2023, September 25th, 2023. So it's about 3 years old. This is by Ben Gazur, and it was fact-checked by Darcy Heikkinen. Okay. All right, let's check it out. What was Jamie? Who's behind Listverse? Oh, this is the founder, Jamie Frater. Yeah, he's done a great job with this site. It's really, really fun. I like it a lot. All right, let's check this one out. We're going to go to number 10. And there's videos. I will give you guys the link to the article at the end. You can go back and watch any of the videos that are included with some of these articles, some of these pieces and parts. But I'm just going to read the descriptions of these 10, and we'll go from there. So here we are, number 10, the Ghostwriter. Francisco Candido Xavier, better known as Chico Xavier, is one of the most popular Brazilian authors of the 20th century. The author of 450 books. Are you serious? That dude's written 450 books? This is even before ChatGPT, I'm sure, so that's really quite a feat. There was something special about his method of working. All of his texts, Xavier claimed, were channeled through him by spirits. Oh, it's a different form of AI. Spirit form. The spirit form. Not that that's artificial, but it's a different kind of intelligence. In a process called psychography. Xavier was a spiritualist and then believed that mediums like himself could contact disembodied spirits, including the souls of the dead. Many of his books were actually written by other dead writers. Or so he claims. I mean, who knows who wrote it. But this brings up a number of ethical and legal problems. The one that concerned the family of the deceased poet Humberto de Campo was, who should get the royalties? Oh, see, they're circling the drain. Who gets the money? It's all about the money. Who gets the royalties of these posthumous works? Xavier claimed that de Campo had written them through him, but it was, excuse me, it was Xavier who took the money. De Campo's family thought the money should be theirs, or Xavier should admit he was faking the works, and sued. The case came to trial in 1944 with the family insisting that everyone involved in the trial, including Humberto de Campos' spirit, should be forced to attend. Okay. Alas, before he could turn up, the judge dismissed the case as dead people have no civil rights, and a family could only claim ownership of works produced by an author before their death. That's cool. That's cool. That makes sense. In 1981, 2 million signatures were collected from people calling for Xavier to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He did not get it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they didn't want to award it to a person channeling spirits. But that's a little, I don't know, it's a little close-minded, wouldn't you think? All right, here we go. Betty Penrose versus God. Can you imagine? Somebody decided to try to sue God. Whoa, that's a bold action. Let's see what this one is. When bad luck strikes, it is a natural reaction to shake our fists at fate, fortune, or the gods. For most of us, we simply get on with life, but some people decide that someone has to pay for their bad luck. Americans are known to be a litigious people, so it should really be no surprise that God has been brought to trial in the United States. Sure, why not? When Betty Penrose's house in Arizona was struck by lightning and burned down, there was really only one person to blame. With the help of her lawyer boss, a case was brought in California in 1969 against God, seeking $100,000 in damages, as they allege God controlled the operation of the universe, including the weather in and upon the state of Arizona. Wow. Yeah, who's going to fork out the cash? Because I don't think God has a lot of cash. The case was able to be heard in California because of property had recently been transferred to the legal ownership of God. If God could own the property, then he could be sued. However, the deed for this transfer was ruled to be invalid, but Penrose's case had already been adjudicated. She won, by the way, but was never able to collect her judgment. Oh man, so they actually judged against God. Boy, I don't know what the pathway to hell is for sure, but I'm betting it's probably got a few of those on it. It's like, I am not guilty. That's funny. Ernie Chambers versus God. This is another one with the actual video on it. When you're in charge of the whole universe, it makes sense that the buck will finally stop with you. God has been sued multiple times. I had no idea this is a thing. In 2007, Ernie Chambers, a state senator for Nebraska, became the latest to try. Chambers was seeking a judicial injunction to order God to stop his fearsome floods, egregious earthquakes, horrendous hurricanes, terrifying tornadoes, pestilent plagues, ferocious famines, and devastating droughts, genocidal wars, birth defects, and the like. God could be sued in Nebraska thanks to his being omnipresent and having putative agents or priests operating for him. Because God was omniscient, he could not claim to be unaware of the harm that he was causing. Ooh. The case made it before a judge, but was dismissed as God could not be contacted and summoned to trial. For Chambers, however, this was a victory. He had no intention of suing God. He was simply trying to make a point that any case deserved to be heard and not simply dismissed as frivolous. A trial involving inappropriate intimacies. I can't even say intimacies, but if I say that word, it's like, how does YouTube handle that? Well, you get it. You can read it. It's right there. And the plaintiff's right to call the crime had been dismissed previously as frivolous. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't think it probably would work to sue God. I'm just saying, could you imagine, though, that you did, and then you're sitting there, and then George Burns walks in? It's like, oh my God. There it is. That'd be funny as hell. I would think that would be a great one if God ever pulled that one off. Just show up as George Burns. That's hilarious. All right, here we go with number 7, Pavel Murcia, I think. When a person is baptized, do they form a binding legal contract with God? That was the question at the heart of a Romanian prisoner's lawsuit. Pavel Murcia was serving a 20-year prison sentence for murder, or unaliving, I should say, when he came to believe that his crimes were actually due to Satan. Why had God not protected him from Satan's influence? God, he claimed, had been happy to accept his prayers and offerings, but had failed to deliver on the benefits that being a Christian was supposed to provide. Thus, God was in breach of contract. As God's representative, Mercia was also suing the Orthodox Church. Mercia's efforts were in vain. The case was dismissed as God was not a citizen of a company in Romania's jurisdiction. Well, is the church a company? I don't know. Kind of. It's a nonprofit, right? Maybe. I don't know. I guess judges know more than I do. Number 6, Strambovsky versus Ackley. That's a different one. There was a video on this one, but it looks like the link probably no longer works. Helen Ackley claimed to have experienced years of poltergeist activity in her New York home. Well, she talked about her experiences in several press articles, and her home soon began to get a reputation for being haunted. When she sold the house to Jeffrey Strambovsky, she is said to have informed him about the hauntings, to which he replied, "We'll have to call in the Ghostbusters," and then the contract was signed. Okay. Soon, however, Strambovsky's got cold feet. He claimed to have only just found out about the hauntings and wanted to pull out of the sale. He then took Ackley and her real estate agent to court, claiming fraudulent misrepresentation of the property. A first trial was dismissed, but Strambovsky's appealed, and the court then ruled that, as a matter of law, the house is haunted. And this was not because they found that ghosts are real, but rather because having the reputation of being haunted would affect the value of a property. It's also found that the buyers had a duty to check a property before they buy, but that as ghosts cannot be seen, they allowed the contract to be broken. So it looks like you won. I don't know about that one. Nowadays, I was surprised to learn this, but I learned it through doing the show, and it was that there was a time that haunted properties you had to almost give them away. I mean, they had to take huge losses just to unload them, just to get them done. But in more recent years, or at least for a period of time, haunted homes were demanding a premium. Like, they would get into bidding wars and stuff of people that wanted to live in a haunted house. And that's surprising to me because, do you volunteer for that kind of thing? Is that what you want? Maybe. For some people, sure. But you just don't know what you're dealing with. I mean, what if it's Becky, the old librarian that lived her life in the house and she's just lingering? Okay, fair enough. Chances are she's not going to be too disruptive. But if you're dealing with some form of, Satan or some demon, then you got some problems on your hands. But anyway, yeah, apparently haunted houses kind of get a premium nowadays. Number 5, Burchell versus Hermemeyer. Okay. In 1919, Mr. Hermemeyer was informed by a Mrs. Burchell that there was a fortune in oil on her property. All they had to do to get a share of this bountiful oil was to invest in her oil company. Well, he did and put up $10,000 of his money, and that was a vast sum. Why did he have so much faith that oil would be discovered? Mrs. Burchell had been told about the oil by a medium who had learned about the oil from a spirit. Wow. Hermemeyer sued Burchell to get his money back, but money back when the ghostly oil prospector proved to be wrong. No oil was found. Hermemeyer contended that his mind was in an abnormal and irrational condition when he believed the spirit, so his money should be returned to him. The court did not agree, while it did not deny that it might be possible for spirits to communicate with the living. These subjects belong to realms and powers that, as yet, must generally be classed as purely speculative, and not so established by evidences cognizable by law, which we are required to administer as to the classed as facts. As among proven things, he had chosen to act on his belief in ghosts, so the investment was not made on the basis of fraud. Yeah. Just because the spirit says that doesn't mean they're being honest. Much like law enforcement, they don't have to be honest. They can be telling you whatever you want to hear. McLary versus Stool is number 4. In 1895, a Nebraska Supreme Court heard a case involving a will and the influence of ghosts. Elizabeth Handley is a widow who had strong spiritual beliefs. She was known to consult spirits, including that of her dead husband, using a planchette, a bit like using a Ouija board. And when she died, her will was read, it had announced that almost all of her estate was to be sold and the money left to a charity called the Home of the Friendless. Okay. Her children sued on the grounds that the will had been made on the advice of the spirit of their dead father. The court found that the will should stand. Law, it is said, is of the earthly, and that spirit wills are too celestial for cognizance by earthly tribunals. A proposition readily conceded, and yet the courts have not assumed to deny the spirits of the departed the privilege of holding communion with those of their friends who are still in the flesh, so long as they do not interfere with vested rights or by means of undue influence seek to prejudice the interests of persons still within our jurisdiction. Since the dead woman was not insane in her beliefs, I don't know, she wasn't dead, it was her husband, right? She was free to leave her money however she wanted. Oh, okay. The dead woman meaning her will. Okay, well, there you go. Here's number 3, Edward Stribling Shoe. There's only one case in the United States where the evidence of a ghost has led to a successful conviction. When Edward Shoe's wife, Zona, was found dead at the bottom of the stairs in her house, he moved her to the bed and dressed her in a high-necked collar before the doctor could arrive. When the doctor came, he examined the body except for the neck and head, which were hidden, in which Shoe was cradling in anguish. Most accepted the finding that it had been a simple accident. Zona's mother suspected foul play, however. Well, that night, Zona's ghost would come in to the grieving mother and tell her what had really happened. The ghost claimed that she had been strangled and had her neck broken at the first joint. Zona's mother pushed for an investigation and the dead woman was exhumed. She was found to have been strangled and had her neck broken at just the place the ghost had mentioned. Edward Shoe was charged with unaliving her, and perhaps hoping to discredit the ghostly testimony, Zona's mother was called to give evidence about the apparition. Evidently, the jury found her convincing, for they found Shoe guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Yeah, I love those stories, honestly. It's great. It's great when, the formerly living come and avenge their own deaths and make it right. Number 2, Hammersmith Ghost Murder. Okay. This one has a video as well. Today, ghost hunters generally go armed with only video recorders when they try to capture a ghost. But this was not always the case. In 1804, there were many reports of a spirit attacking people in the Hammersmith area of London. It was also said to be a tall man dressed in all white and may have been a restless soul of somebody who took their own life. Gangs of men formed to search the streets for the phantom. When Francis Smith saw a man dressed all in white one night, he knew he had found the ghost. He shouted at the ghost, "Damn you! Who are you and what are you? Damn you, I'll shoot you." And he did. The bullet hit the ghost in the jaw and knocked him to the ground, and soon it became clear that the ghost was no more than a bricklayer called Thomas Millwood, wearing the white garb that people of his profession always wore. He actually died on the spot. Oh, man. Smith was brought to trial for unaliving him, and the heightened tension caused by rumors of a ghost was no defense, so he was found guilty and sentenced to death. This was later commuted to a year of hard labor, but the precedent stands in English law that believing someone is a ghost is no justifiable reason to kill him. And the last one on this list, Gerald, Mayo versus Satan and his staff. Yeah, that's probably a good lawsuit right there. I don't know who you want to sue. How about Satan? Probably's got it coming. Oh, Josie says, my sister just passed. That was February 27th of this year. She passed in our living room. Wow. Did you ever get any feelings that she might still be lingering? I think that's a powerful thing. My dad, when he passed in my mom's house, my mom and dad's house, I mean, he lingered for quite a while. Must have been about a year. I mean, literally. He just didn't go anywhere. And he did all kinds of stuff in the house that had never had any ghostly activity at all until after he passed. And then TVs on and off and all kinds of stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right, let's check out this one of suing the devil. Let's see. Suing the devil is a risky business. One has to assume that the devil has access to all of history's great lawyers. This author doesn't really like lawyers. And his role as ruler of the damned, still in 1971, Gerald Mayo, who was a prisoner in Pennsylvania, submitted a case against Beelzebub. According to the lawsuit, the devil was at the root of all of Mayo's problems. Satan had on numerous occasions caused plaintiff misery and warranted threats against the will of the plaintiff. That Satan had placed deliberate obstacles in his path and had caused the plaintiff's downfall. Because of these actions, Satan and all of his evil minions had denied Mayo his constitutional rights. I could do it. The judge was forced to deny the motion to sue Satan for several reasons. There was no evidence the devil was a resident of the district, so the court might not be the right place to bring the trial. There was also the problem of delivering a summons to court to Satan. Few people would be willing to make the trip to hell to serve the papers. Yeah, no. I don't blame them. I would not be the one to do that. All right, so I'm going to copy the link of this. If anybody wants to check out some of these videos that are attached to this article, you should. Whoops, that's not the one. I thought I just copied it. Dang it, I didn't. I did not. Let me do this. Let me just refresh it. There we go. Copy. There we go. I'll try again. Here we go. Paste. There we go. That worked. There it is. It's pasted in the YouTube, Facebook, X chat. Now it's over in Rumble. If anybody wants to check out any of these extra little video elements, that's fine. This looks like at least one of them, number 2, was from BuzzFeed. So there's some cool stuff, cool extra information. Maybe it's a little more in depth than what we just read, but maybe not. Maybe it's exactly the same. It's hard to say. But there we go. That's the latest list verse article. Hope you guys like that. I'm just going to look at the bottom quick to see if there's anything good on the bottom here. Nope. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe. Oh, that would be cool too. Okay, so those are a couple new articles that we can peruse in coming days. Man, it's already after 8. It's 5 minutes after 8. Where's the time gone? It goes so quick. I can't believe it. Wow. Finally, for those of you that have been around a while, I had a mustache for quite a while. And I may very well grow it back. I just kind of like not having to deal with it, just keep shaving it. But I'll tell you, the skin where the mustache was very sensitive for a long time. And it's finally getting more used to being shaved now. Because every time after I'd shave, I looked like I just got done guzzling cherry Kool-Aid. It was like my whole lip would be just pink. So it's nice. It's nice. It's handling it a bit better now. I'm just saying. All right. Now it's time for a segment that I think a lot of you guys have really spoken highly about. I've not heard anybody speak negatively about it, actually, which is pretty fascinating. But it's been a fun segment to dive into because we do videos and we do pictures of alleged evidence. And this is a segment we like to call... What the hell is that? What the hell is that? That's what we're not sure about. But that's what we do it for. So the idea, folks, is that I'm going to show you a series of videos, photos that allegedly portray or show what might be paranormal activity. And your job as watching this is going to be to vote on them. So you vote after each one. I'm going to say, okay, guys, give me a vote. What do you think? What have you looked at? Give me a 1 if what you've seen looks like real evidence, like it might be the real deal. So give me a number 1 in chat, and therefore you're voting. If what you're looking at you think this is definitely not real, some kind of shenanigans, give me a 0 in chat, and that'll tell me that you're not really buying it, and that's fair. Now, I will say, you can answer with decimal points too, like if you're most of the way there, 0.8. Like you're most of the way there, but not quite all the way, 0.8. That's pretty close. Conversely, if you're mostly not there and you think it's absolutely probably fake, but maybe there's something to it, a 0.2, whatever. Just use your imagination, use the scale to vote what you're feeling. Now, these videos, they don't really give us the opportunity to learn too much, other than usually sometimes there's a caption included with these, but oftentimes there's not. There's just nothing to work with. And all we can do is just gut check it. Like, what does it look like? Don't worry about saying yes, and if everybody else is saying no, don't be worried about saying no if everyone else is saying yes, because it's your take. It's your take. There's no wrong answers. You cannot answer wrongly. This is just, what do you see? Do you see something that looks like it might be the deal or not? So weigh in. Vote. Don't be afraid to vote. Love me some water. All right, let's get to what the hell is that? I got to pull up the browser here with all the information. Yeah, good. Okay, we're good. All right, so the first one is going to be, it's a picture. I'm going to zoom this up a little bit here to fill up the frame as much as I can. I'm going to probably move it over just a little. I'm not sure how it's going to frame up. This is a photograph from Red's Creepy Clips. It's a Facebook group. We've referenced this Facebook group many times, and it's been a lot of fun. Some of the stuff they offer there really looks like it might be something. Some of it is less so, but I don't fault these sites for posting stuff that is obviously fake. I just think it's great that they're posting stuff for us to discuss, and that's the spirit that we're looking at this with. Not like, oh, don't support this site, they post hoaxes. No, it's cool. We can certainly look at each piece and make our own determinations. But at the end of the day, any of this stuff could be legit, and any of this stuff could be a hoax. So just, weigh it with a grain of salt, but just tell me what you think. So this one's an image, as I stated, and it's a woman with a baby. So I'm going to pull it up and read the caption right now. The caption goes, this person who shared this photo wrote, "This is a picture of my mom holding my newborn son. My husband took it, and when we looked closer, we noticed something strange in the background. There's a clear figure visible, transparent, with no shadow, and it definitely wasn't there when the photo was taken. We showed it to our neighbors, and they told us that the family who lived here before us had a son who had passed away." So there you go. This is the mom. This is the baby. It's not really framed perfectly, is it? Let's go back over here like this. But what we're looking at is this. Looks like, this might be just the hair, but it certainly could be a sleeve of an arm too. Could be just a hair light. But looks like a guy wearing like a suspenders, white shirt, darker complexion, not much of a head, but a little bit transparent. You can kind of see through it. So what are we looking at here? What are we looking at? Is this potentially a great capture of a spirit photobombing while grandma's checking out the baby? What do you think? Time to vote. Let me know. All right. Amanda came in first, says nope. That's a big 0. Gotcha. It's Robert Johnson. Yeah. From the Crossroads. Maybe. 0.8 from Aggravated Progressive. 0.5 from Rachel. 1 from BJ Lapierre. 2 Shadows gives it a 0.5. 0.5 from Maggie. Aussie Boss Tigers giving it a 1.7 from Brent Van Hoen. All right, fair enough. Kitty Cattywack's giving it a 0.5, as is Yeshua. And Jose's giving it 0.3. Kel's giving it a 1. And where are we at? Werewolf 0.5. Kedster 0.5. John Temperin, -0. Diane Fowler giving it a 0.5, halfway there. And I see a head with a beard also. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, certainly could be. 0.6 from the Oceans, double exposure. It's not impossible. Certainly, there's darkroom techniques to fake pictures too. One of which would be a double exposure, but it's just funny because there's a suspender appearing here, coming down from the chest. There's one here, and then the white shirt with first button open on the collar, but otherwise, yeah. And the head kind of disappears. It goes up to here, and then there's nothing. So, could be. What do we got over in Rumble? Barbara Moore is all in on this one. Dog Digger, 0.5. And I'm wondering if the family before was black. Yeah, it could be. Car Juice comes in at 0.25. So there you go. Good information. Shane Gord gives it a 0.5 as well. Undead Jed, same. But there you have it. First one. Could it be? Yeah, I mean, it could be. Could be. It looks like it's the right exposure to match the image itself, but is it possible it's some kind of trickery? Sure. Is it possible it's something else? Sure. But it's also possible it might be real. And just on first blush, yeah, I think it's possible. This is just a good capture. I think the shirt and the suspenders are what's really selling it for me. Not to mention this jawline and the chin. That's very fascinating to me. But there you have it. This is the first one. Thank you all for checking it out. Mirrors are portals. Yeah, I think mirrors can be portals. I don't think that a mirror just in and of itself is a portal, but it can be a portal, can become a portal. Sometimes intentionally with some sort of incantation, if you will. Other times inadvertently, just through things happening in the vicinity of mirrors. Like some kind of tragedy or an unaliving of some sort. Sure. You could open up all kinds of hell in a house in a hurry. So there you go. That's the first one. And good votes. Good votes, everybody. Okay, let's get to the next one and drill into this. All right, so this one is a woman records unexplained activity inside of her home. And this comes from Edward Smith. It's just Edward Smith. I don't know if he posts a bunch of things or not. This just came up on my feed, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's check it out. A woman records unexplained activity inside her home is literally, that's all the explanation I have for what we're about to see. So I can't give other details. Don't ask me, because all I know is a woman recorded unexplained activity in her home. So let's check this out. I'm leaving the sound on. I don't remember if there's music here, but if so, I'm going to turn it off.
Dr. Kostler, it's Mary. It's happening again. The water just came on.
So if you notice, the whole video opens with her allegedly on the call with her doctor. Maybe a psychologist, maybe a psychiatrist, trying to help her deal with the delusions of a ghost. But that's how it starts. So we're catching her allegedly in mid-phone call.
I'm hearing noises. My dogs are going crazy. Yes, I'm calm. I'm hearing stuff in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, the water just turned on. I'll call you right back.
So the water turned on there and starts hitting the sink. And I don't know. It's turned on by a lift up. It's possible it's a string pull. It's not impossible. But so what's kind of weird is that she's allegedly making a phone call. But she's also recording. Does she have two phones? How's this working? I don't know. That's a little bit of the gray area there that makes you wonder, like, what are we looking at? But let's keep watching. It's a little bit longer.
my God, go away! Leave us alone! Oh my God. Bella, come in here! Open the door! Let me out!
Yeah, how about that one, ladies and gentlemen? She just got, her whole house just kind of exploded. And again, it's out of frame. We don't know what we're looking at. I haven't looked at it frame by frame to look for a cut or edit. It could be. But it also could be legitimate. That's a hell of a lot of activity. That's a scary amount of activity, and that would be something very dangerous, I would think, if that was actually truly paranormal activity. That level of activity is, I mean, that's on a whole different level. Not a safe situation. You don't run around with an EVP recorder and try to talk. You just get a priest or a shaman or somebody to do some work, because you got to get that the hell out. But what are we looking at? What do you think? Is this clever editing and a hoax, or is it the real thing? Time to vote. Let's see what you guys think. Just keep watching the video, Maggie. There it goes. There. As soon as she goes into the darkened pantry or the laundry room and turns around, it's like everything just pops off. So this loud noise happens when she's in the pantry or laundry room. Oh, and then the door slams shut, apparently, too. So, but as she turns around to the rest of the house, as you can see, this first shot, she's kind of panning around. Everything is in its place. And then she walks through. She's talking to her doctor. The water turns on is the first indicator. And then she goes back to the laundry room. She gets there. It's this big rumbling and screaming, and the dogs go nuts. She turns around, and everything is just gone to hell in her house. Chairs down, doors open, stuff flying out of, well, they don't really catch the flying stuff, but it looks like stuff is flying out of all the cupboards and drawers all over the floor. So it's quite a bit of activity. All right, let's take a look. Oh, duh. Yeah, you're looking at me. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Here we go. Let me restart this. I'm sorry. I forgot to cue it. All right, let's try that again. God, I forgot to change the camera.
Dr. Kostler, it's Mary. It's happening again. The water just came on. I'm hearing noises.
That's
my dogs
water.
are going crazy.
Watch the handle on the water.
Yes, I'm calm. I'm hearing stuff in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, the water just turned on. I'll call you right back.
And that's really the only activity, but she did, I guess this door is cracked, so she's going to have a look for some reason. I don't know why she goes in here.
My God, go away! Leave us alone! Oh my God. Bella, come in here! Open the door! Let me out!
There you go. Call the plumber. Yeah. So there it is. What do you guys think? Is this potentially real or no? Time to vote. Could be real, maybe. But again, this is a profound level of activity. This would really be a dangerous situation. It's kind of an orgy of evidence as well. So they use an old homicide term. Like if things are just, there's too much going on, it's kind of called an orgy of evidence. And I've never experienced this level of activity, and thank God, because, you know, I've always said, look, I really don't get scared investigating, but I think if I was in a situation where this happened, yeah, you probably would feel a little, quite a bit unnerved. That's a lot of activity. So what do we got? We got, oh, geez. Author, illustrator, B.J. Lapierre gives it a 0.5. Rachel gives it a 0. Special effects. Werewolf 0, 0 staged from Kel. Aussie Boss Tiger halfway. Sharon, Lenda, Wizard, all zeros. 0.6 from Aggravated Progressive. Amanda's Crazy Life, 0. What do we got? Maggie, M10, 0. Hoggle's given it 0. Some kind of student film. Yeah, I mean, that's a good guess, actually. Josie's giving it a -100. Wow. Karen Alberding, 0. I feel negative energy even from here. I say 1. Yeah, you could be right, Anna. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not real. It's just not the kind of activity you generally experience in even a lifetime of researching. People will never see anything like that. But Quack gives it a 0. Brent Von Hohen, 0.2. Going down, Yeshua, 0. D-Ocean, 0. Overacting. I don't know if it's overacting. I think it's weird how she starts out with the phone call to her doctor, and yet she's still filming somehow. So I don't know how many phones she's got, but that's kind of the curious part for me. Everything was framed, but she didn't see it happen. There's just a few papers fluffing around as she turns around. Otherwise, everything else is already blown up. I was going to clean the dishes, but then I got... How didn't you say that earlier, Linda? Freaky stuff, solid 1 from Shane. If that was real, I think she'd be outside. Yeah, I mean, there is that. 0, everything happened too quickly to see, right? Undead. Jed gives it 0.5, seems too staged, D-Ocean says. True, I mean, it's a lot of opportunistic. The camera was already being used, and she's filming. She claims that the water came on once already, so that's allegedly why she started filming, but she's making a phone call at the same time, apparently. Ketster, 0. Anybody else? Diane, 0. Water bill high from Richard Daler. 2. Good point, Maggie says. I'm looking for any other votes. Okay, let's check out Rumble. What do we got? Let's see. No video. Yeah, no vid. Sorry. Yeah, it's not that I can't read your screen, Dog Digger. It's I can't watch chat conclusively. So I can only reference chat. 0 from Barbara Mora, 0 from Dog Digger. Car Juice, 0. 0 too cinematic for me, Justin Gooder says. Yeah. I think that's probably the safest take. Again, this kind of activity is very Hollywood. It really is. I've certainly heard. My cousin Paul in Michigan had an incredibly profound haunting going on, and stuff like this, even with his location and everything that was going on, it was not this much. But there was, I will tell you that one of his experiences was he had a underground vault with an actual vault door on it. And in there, he was a firearms dealer. So he had a home vault with all kinds of firearms and stuff. And he had lag bolts into the wall of his concrete wall. And it was double reinforced with rebar and everything. I mean, it was very, very safe and secure. The vault door was shut and locked. And he was upstairs and he heard this screaming noise, but it sounded like a horrible scream noise. And then the sound of stuff just tearing apart. Now, it sounded like it was maybe out in his garage or something. He wasn't quite sure where it was coming from, but it wasn't in the room. And so they didn't know. And he went out to the garage and looked around and everything was fine. He just couldn't figure out where did this scream noise and all this stuff getting thrown all over coming from. He didn't know. It was the next day he went down and went into his gun vault, and he found that all of his dozens and dozens and dozens of firearms were torn off the wall, including the hooks and hangers that were bolted into the cement, were torn off the wall and in a pile in the center of the room. And so, I mean, that's a real, hand to God, real kind of story. And I know it is because this is my family. This is someone, he would call me every day and we'd go through, trying to work through how to help him and get through this. But a very, very true story. And that was a scary situation, a very, very scary situation. But they're extraordinarily rare. So yeah, I think you guys are pretty on board with the fact that this is probably not real. But if it is, it's not unprecedented. It's just exceptionally rare to get this level of activity. And I know, again, it's online. It's in a video online. So chances are it's going to be done for effect. But anyway, this is by Edward Smith on Facebook. Maybe it's worth checking out more of his stuff, see what else he's got. I don't know that this is his video, but it's posted on his page. But Edward Smith. So there we go. That was that one. Let's go to the next one. This one is a shorter video, but it's allegedly some kind of shadow person. Allegedly some kind of shadow person is all we know. So we got 3 more. This is the first of 3 that remain yet for tonight. And you can be the judge. It says, New Orleans is cursed with the shadow people. And this is from Wout Company, W-Out. So W-O-U-T Company Facebook page. You be the judge. Here we go. I'll remember to turn on the camera so you guys can see it now. Here's the video. Let's have a look. Oh, I got to cue it up to the intro here again. Shadow people caught on camera in New Orleans. Let's take a look. I guess there isn't sound. See, now to me that looks a lot like a dog. But I'm sure it's probably not. Oh, there's some sound now. Ooh. There it is. I don't know. What I don't like about this one, just for the record, is how crisp this is. It's very defined with a very specific outline. I've seen videos like the woman with her dogs when she catches that shadow thing leaning out in her hallway. That was very, very smoky and it kind of just faded out. It didn't just have these real crisp edges like this. And so I think this is just somebody in a hoodie and I don't know what this is down here. Probably maybe a stuffed animal kind of thing. I don't know. He's holding out on the low part. It does look like a dog, I'll give you that. But I don't know how he pulled the dog back and then leans out. And the dog doesn't seem to be moving at all. It's just very static. Not like the normal shuffs and shuffles and wagging the tail and panting that you'd expect if it was a dog. So, but you guys should vote. Let me know what you think. Should have more of the vid. Yeah, you're right, Dog Digger. That would be good. But it's just, even the acting is kind of like, that's very, seems a little contrived. Doesn't seem like an organic jerking reaction. Like, I always look for that jerking reaction, like they're pulling away, like trying to create a space. And it's not really that. It's just, oh, look, it's leaning out. And it's just a little wiggle. So I don't know. Could it be real? Sure. But I've never seen a depiction of shadow people with such crisp and defined edges. That to me is the big smoking gun, alongside of the acting and alongside of the fact that he just happened to be recording and caught this. So what do you guys think? Time to vote. Looks staged. Anna Bolney says, yeah, and I don't know if that was for that one or this one. 0.33 from Aussie Boss Tiger. 0 from Shane Gord. Brent Von Holm, 0. That iOS, too solid. That is too solid. Yeah, Anna says, yeah, I think so. 0 from her. A lot of bad juju in New Orleans. Yeah, I actually love New Orleans. I was down there. I really like the vibe. It's a little, I mean, you can definitely feel there's a different kind of energy to it, but it's not all dark. It's just, there's a lot of mysticism down there. It's doing the peekaboo thing. Yeah, I mean, as far as shadow people activity, it's behaving the way a shadow person probably would, but I just don't think this is it. 0.01 for Sharon Sunshine. Okay, folks, I'm out of here. Have a great evening. Oh, good night, BJ. Thanks for coming in. Richard, 100%. Wizard Moon gives it nothing. Let's see, 0.5 from Jose. What do we got? Diane Fowler's giving it a 0. Agree, too solid and crisp. Hesitant, says Jose. Josie's giving it nope. Big nope as well. Yeah, me too. Kel's not buying it. Let's see. 0, it's a guy in black. I think so too, D Oceans. I think you're right. Dogman saying hi. Yeah. Maybe it's a skinwalker. Who knows? I love New Orleans, but it's pretty haunted. Yeah, it really is. I really enjoyed it though. 0, tie that dog up from Richard. Yeah. Hook and Good Creations by Tina and Maggie both give it a 0. If I saw that, I'd be outside. Hoggle says, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of encounter that if it's appearing that boldly, it's really trying to really mess you up. Just emotionally, just to make you unstable. Guy standing behind the door jamming in black. Am I the only one? No, that's what I see too, D, for sure. All right, what do we got on Rumble? Let's see. Should have more of the vid. 0 from Car Juice. Barbara Mora, 0.5. Justin Good Earth, 0. Fake news. Fake news. A lot of voodoo down there. Yeah, there is. Yep. Voodoo and hoodoo and what would you do? I don't know. All right. You remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? Power of voodoo. Hoodoo. You do. What? Remind me of the babe. Where'd that quote come from? Huh? There you go. I think it's a good, it's a good thing to review. It's just something staged. Something staged. But we got to go through those too. This is all about critical thinking. That's why I started What the Hell Is That? Just to try to bring more critical thinking into this stuff. Labyrinth, you're absolutely right, Maggie. Absolutely right. And Hoggle, you're right as well. Hoggle, of course, is also from Labyrinth. That's where I'm pretty sure they got the name Hogwarts. J.K. Rowling got the name Hogwarts for Harry Potter was because the little I don't know, it was some kind of a dwarf guy was named Hoggle in Labyrinth. But at what point David Bowie would always mess up his name on, it's part of the script, but he calls him Hogwarts, and that was pretty hilarious. So, because how do you think up something like Hogwarts? That's pretty hilarious. But anyway, this next one is kind of creepy, folks. I don't know. Be careful out there in the wilds and in the waters, especially, because there's things out there in the waters that we just don't understand. And that brings us to our next video, which comes from something in Thai. No, it's not Thai. I think this is maybe Hmong or Vietnam. I don't know. Some kind of name. The Gidi Moi or Moi or something. I don't know. Say it's a water dragon that they captured on film. What do you guys think? Let's take a look. Here it is. The water dragon itself. Get ready. Buckle up. We're going in. Here it is.
Trời ơi, gầm nước kìa, nó đi sát xuống luôn. Đẹp quá ha. Để tôi gõ thử coi. Trơn lắm, lạnh luôn.
He's a happy and friendly water dragon.
Nhìn ghê. Nó lẳng kìa, đi mất tiêu rồi.
There you go, folks.
Trời ơi, gầm nước kìa, nó đi.
There it is. It's an actual water dragon. We've been waiting for this kind of evidence for years. Thank God for the internet bringing us this kind of quality evidence. Thank God. So, time to vote. Yeah, it's AI for sure, Diane. You're absolutely right. A lot of 0, I'm betting. Yep, already. There's a couple. It's the interesting thing though is look at the quality. When AI first came out, there was a real issue making the water look like it was actually in contact with something physical. And you can see how far that has evolved. Like, it looks like, obviously this is not real, but it really does mimic water moving over a tailed fin like that perfectly. Maybe more turbulence would have been better in the water as it's flapping its tail so big, but that's pretty good as far as quality. That's a pretty good quality. And even the guy's hand touching it, it does look like there's impact points on the pads of his fingers, where his fingers flatten out a little bit as he's touching it. Just little subtleties like that really seem to, suggest a whole different level of detail. So this is where it's getting. Justin Gooder is some mutant sturgeon. Barbara Mora, 0 could be RC equipment. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is AI, but you're right. I mean, it could be an animatronic kind of thing. Car Juice is giving it a 0. I think we're all pretty sure it's a big 0. But if you want to believe, you can certainly believe. That's certainly your priority or your prerogative to think what you want. I think we're all pretty sold that this is not real, but it is showing how good the fakes are getting. I mean, it really does demonstrate that. This is profoundly good. It's just too good. So anyway, that one's that one. That one's that one. All right, let's get to the last one tonight on the broadcast. This one's kind of interesting. This one I just pulled up not too long before the show. Man quickly passing through a wall. And it says the lady was lying down on the sofa in a vet clinic. On the CCTV capture, a black figure running through the wall and back out. What is going on? I don't know. This could be legit. It could be not legit, but I'm going to need you to vote on this one. So let's check it out. Here is the video. This is posted by Martin Healy. It looks like Martin posts a lot of these reaction videos like this. Sure, it's not his video, but this is him reacting to the video. So let's have a look.
At a veterinary clinic in California. The footage shows a man quickly passing through a solid wall. Then, in an instant, he stepped out from the same wall and disappeared completely.
I forgot to change camera again. I'm doing an awesome show tonight. Here we go. Let's watch it now.
At a veterinary clinic in California. The footage shows a man quickly passing through a solid wall. Then, in an instant, he stepped out from the same wall and disappeared completely, as if he was never there. Moments later, a dog ran out from the same room, clearly terrified. It felt as if the dog had also seen the darting figure. The veterinarian confirmed that no one had entered the room, and the only thing felt was a sudden at a veterinary clinic.
Now watch that wall. It does seem to flex as this figure of this person goes through it. It just doesn't seem quite right. I don't know. It's like the wall flexes. Maybe that's how interdimensional energy going through a wall would behave. I don't know. I'm not saying it couldn't be real. It's just very strange the way that it actually changes the geometry of the wall, and the picture kind of flexes out. And it's just almost like a curtain. But maybe that's how it works. I don't know. I'm not saying that makes it not real. It just makes it odd. Like you wouldn't think it would actually change the geometry of the surface. But watch as the guy goes through. And it just kind of makes the whole curtain effect on the wall, and the picture actually flops as if the wall just turned soft. What do you guys think? I'm kind of curious what your take is going to be on this one. I'm curious. All right. A plasma being bending pixels. Yeah, maybe. CGI says Maggie. Yeah. Or a plasma being. I'll check it out. All right. Looking for the votes. What do you guys got? Bonnie Moore is giving this a 0. Hi, Bonnie. Good to see you. Good to see you. 0 from Shane Gord. 0.666 from Aussie. And it could be legit. I'm not saying it can't be legit. I'm just finding it really surprising that it seems to actually have an observable effect on that wall where it goes through. Karen Alberting, 0. It's a hallway. Yep, watch the hallway. Sharon asks, AI 0 from D Oceans. Could very well be. Brent Van Hoen, 0.8. Might be real. Pretty close. 0.5 from Rachel. She's giving it a halfway. I hope it's fake, says Maggie. Yeah, I mean, that is creepy. 0.1 from Hoggle. 0.666 laughing from Aggravated Progressive. But the dog looks blurry also until it gets around the corner. Yeah, it kind of does. You're right. But I just assumed, now, interior cameras like this generally aren't, like, they don't have a high frame rate. They don't refresh, 30, 60, 120 times like your monitor does, or like, a cell phone camera does. They have a high refresh rate on video. And that's what gives, even something moving fast gives it, fully formed visuals without the blurring. But a lot of security cameras are much lower than that on the free refresh rate. So if something's moving fast enough, it'll never appear absolutely solid. Like that dog. The dog is kind of flying through like, hell no, some dude just blew in here and through the wall. So it does have it's a kind of an interesting effect. But, you know, that's all I can say about it. Annie Boleyn, 1. Hook and Good Creations by Tina, 0. Kel's giving it a 0. BS, I think, Jasmine says. Probably. 0.5 from Wizard Moon, 0.5 from Maggie. Diane Fowler, 0. Undead Jed, 0.5. Why go through a wall when there's a door? Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's some kind of a time slip. Like maybe a door used to be there. A lot of people suggest that could be the case with like spirits going through walls in old houses that have been refurbished. Like they might move a doorway, but for the spirit, the doorway might still be there in its understanding of the house, whereas the people living there in the current time have a wall. So there's that idea. So that suggests more of a time anomaly maybe. But interesting. 0.1 from Jose, no way. 0 from Richard Taylor. But the wall is 2 shades light and dark at the pictures. Yeah. It does have, it's like half illuminated from the light coming in from where we assume this thing came from. So there's like a light coming through the door or the hallway where it's coming from. Yeah. And poor her, she's got a crutch, so she's not going anywhere fast. The lady on the couch. She's like, nope, I'm laying here. I burnt me fingers. Be careful, Maggie. 0 from D Oceans. I saw this on Alien 8 UK yesterday, and they were freaked out with it. It could be legit. I'm not saying it's not. I just I'm observing things that are unusual. Just the way that wall kind of molds and deforms and actually has a physical reaction to this thing walking through is very strange. Could be, maybe a multidimensional kind of being. Maybe it's extraterrestrial. I mean, maybe it can move through things like that. I think it's a real video, said Jasmine. Someone knocking on the door at the dogs reacting. Yeah, it could be, actually. Good point, Jasmine. It could be, this part could be just kind of melded in and faked afterwards, but the actual dog running out, barking, could be going to a door knock or something. So over on Rumble, Barbara's giving it a 0.05. Car Juice is 0. Justin Goodearth, 0.5. Could actually be real hard to decide these days. Yeah, it is. It sure is. Haven't seen Dog Digger vote. Barb at the thought at the same time. I don't know if Dog's going to vote on this one or not, but that's okay. That's what we know. Interesting, though. It is interesting. But this is the last video. I think we got all the votes, and this is the collection of material I had to work with for you guys tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found value and fun in this presentation of this segment, which is... What the hell is that? Indeed, what the hell is that? There you go. That was the journey. I like that segment. I just think it's kind of fun to discuss things, to see what you guys are saying. Certainly, you guys have great eyes and pick up some great stuff, little nuances that even I miss. So you guys are very good at this, and it's great to... I trust animals, says Justin. Yeah, I do too. Missed it fixing speaker wire. Oh, no worries, dog. Appreciate it. No worries. Got to get the sound working. Thank you, Diane. Diane clapped. She did the emoji claps. All right. Well, we got just a little bit of time here, so probably going to go through some other goodness and fun that we like to hit here on the show. And this is not that. Forgot to turn that off. There we go. Forgot to turn that off because now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We're going to journey into the deep, dark recesses of the Cryptid Corner. Boom, baby. Very cool. Very cool. It's time for the Cryptid Corner, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where we discuss creatures of the cryptozoological realm. And I should probably shrink my head a little bit. I made my head a little bigger because I do shorts, and if I blow up these little blocks, my face looks like I'm using a potato camera. So I made this picture bigger of me so that when I crop it to just show me sharing information or talking to you guys about something, I don't look like I'm on a potato camera, because this is a 4K camera. It's supposed to be pretty darn good. It's still a webcam. It's not like a DSLR mirrorless or something. That's where I want to go next, but got to save up my aluminum first. So, but that's why I blew it up. But I think I'll shrink it for this part, because I guess I could just leave it. All I'm missing is part of the Sasquatch Chronicles blog titling here, so that's not a big deal. You guys know where we are. We're going to visit the Sasquatch Chronicles blog and go through some of the listener emails that Wes receives. These are a lot of fun. Well, maybe I'll move it over just a little bit more. Maybe, no, I can't do that. I'll go off onto the screen behind me. Let's do this. Make it just a little bit more narrow. There we go. That'll work. I can resize the article. All right, this one's from March 14th. Whatever we heard sounded like a monster. A listener writes, "Hi, Wes. Love the show." And again, this is Wes's show, not mine. But this is the kind of emails the man receives. He's very fortunate and blessed. I listen all the time. A few years ago, I was on a hunting trip near Woodville, Texas, with my 3 boys, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, and we had 2 blinds set up a good distance from each other. My brother-in-law had trail cameras out and had been seeing plenty of deer, which is why we chose that spot. Strangely, though, for the first 2 days, we didn't see so much as a squirrel. The woods were completely dead except for a few crows that we saw one afternoon. One morning, I had my youngest son with me, and he was probably 8 or 9 at the time. We'd been sitting there for hours without seeing or hearing anything, when suddenly some coyotes start yipping off in the distance, maybe about half a mile away. You know how loud they can be. Well, after about 10 to 15 seconds of that, the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard ripped through the woods from the same direction. It honestly sounded like a woman screaming, but there's no way a person could be that loud. It's hard to say exactly how long it lasted, but it had to be 7 to 10 seconds, maybe even longer. The sound completely filled the forest, and when it stopped, the coyotes went dead silent and didn't make another sound. My son and I just looked at each other, and I don't want to scare him, so I just played it off and didn't really say anything about it. When I got home, I started researching what it could have been. Some people say there are panthers in East Texas that scream like a woman. But after listening to recordings, it didn't sound anything like what we had heard. The scream we heard lasted much longer and sounded far more human. I've heard the foxes make screaming noises, but again, it was nothing like that. Whatever we heard sounded like a monster. And this might not be related, but the last morning of the trip, my brother-in-law and I decided to sit on the ground in some bushes instead of the blinds since we hadn't been seeing anything. And we were there from before sunrise until mid-morning, when suddenly we heard a large animal take off right behind us. We never heard it approach, just the heavy thump of it hitting the ground as it ran off, crashing through the woods. It didn't sound like the train through the trees people describe with Sasquatch, so maybe it was just a deer that had snuck up on us. But after hearing that scream the day before, it definitely creeped me out. Yeah, that's the tough part about nature is, there's quite a spectrum of weird and odd natural fauna sounds that are normal, just mundane, creatures that we're all used to. Sometimes they can make some of the weirdest vocalizations, but, I've heard of the deer and bobcats and stuff with the screaming, and sure, I'm sure that that's some of it, but when you got a 7 to 10 second vocalization, that's a lot. I don't think I've ever heard anything make a 10-second vocalization Unless like it was a bloodhound or a dog howling. Yeah, so there you go. That's pretty creepy, but that's the first one. Don't worry, we got more. This one is next. This one is from March 8th regarding the Kansas episode. This one's not long either. A listener writes, "Hi, Wes. After listening to that Kansas episode, I thought I should just chime in. My former property is located not too far from Clinton Lake, which I'm probably at, I'm at probably 4 to 6 times a year. My former property was over 400 acres and surrounded by similar properties and habitats. 400 acres is huge. I lived there from about 2004 to about 2014. The property had been in my family for about 100 years, and I'd been going up into the property from Kansas City with my grandpa since I was a little kid. Examples. One, probably the most stark example for me personally, was one Sunday late afternoon in probably August of 2014. I brought back a squeaky ball toy for my dog, and something charged my house with lungs so big it felt like the size of an elephant. And when it growled at me, the sound waves literally went through my body. It was surreal. God, I know that sound. It gives me chills just to think about it. Every time I read a story that talks about the growling, I go back to when I was 14. It's just like, ugh, horrifying. I've heard the little girls playing in the woods voices. I've had logs thrown right by my head. And I've had brown furry creatures close to the house in the woods that I couldn't identify. We've heard human-like voices exclaim in alarm as we shot into the woods at night. My friend Rob was stalked one night when he drove my ATV into a ravine, and he couldn't get it out of there for hours. I've had the tree breaks markings. I've had very large trees moved onto my ATV and Jeep trails. I've never had face-to-face contact, thank God. I live in the heart of downtown Kansas City now, and knowing what I know now, I'm sure I could never move back out into the country. Anyway, I'm happy to chat. I'm a big fan of the show." That's pretty crazy. I don't know how you surrender 400 acres for downtown Kansas City. I mean, if you're young, maybe that's the better play, but man, that's just, a piece of property that big is just really, really cool. That's like having your own state. You can be private on a piece of land that big. All right, let's do one more, and then we're going to be done with the show tonight. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Okay. Never mind. I guess we might just be done with the show, but I guess that's going to about do it. I thought I had 3 of them pulled up. Oh, I do have one more. I do have one more. I have one more, and this one isn't really cryptid, but it's creepy. And it's one of the latest articles from Lon Strickler. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, Phantoms and Monsters is an incredibly well done site. Lon's really been doing this for decades. He's been at it for a long time. He's an incredibly knowledgeable guy. He's been digging into this stuff for a lot longer than anyone else I know. And he's a published author. He has his own show that he does, but he does manage phantomsandmonsters.com, and his podcast is called Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And you can find that on YouTube as well. It's a YouTube channel. Just look for youtube.com/Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And you'll find Lon's site. And he was just on, I'm sure, before I was on. I didn't get a chance to listen because I had some family stuff going on right up until showtime. But yeah, he's a great guy. He published this article and shared it over on Paranormal Portal fans page on Facebook. If you're not already on there, please get on there. Love to see you guys over there. This is dealing with white-eyed kid encounter. Now, I've not really heard of white-eyed kids before, so I saw this and I went, oh my God, that's very strange. What's a white-eyed kid? Well, let's find out. It says, white-eyed kid encounter in the undisclosed shopping center. Parking lot leaves witness shaken. Look at that image. That's obviously AI, but what would you do? Jeez. Crazy. All right, here we go. At approximately 10 p.m., while waiting alone in a 24-hour shopping center parking lot for a friend to finish work, a witness was approached by a child asking for a ride home. What began as an odd late-night encounter quickly turned into something deeply unnerving when the witness realized the child's eyes were completely white and that the voice coming through the cracked window seemed to carry an unnatural force. Reports of strange children requesting entry into homes or vehicles have circulated in modern paranormal lore for decades, though this account stands out for its wide-eyed variation rather than the more widely cited black-eyed motif. All right, here it is. I was sitting in my car in a 24-hour shopping center at around 10 p.m. waiting for a friend who worked there. It was late, quiet, and I did not notice anyone else around on that level of the garage. Out of nowhere, a kid appeared at my window and started tapping on the glass. My first thought was, where the hell did he come from? My second was that I might be getting robbed. I only rolled down the window part way, but I remembered that my doors were locked, and that gave me at least a little comfort. I asked him, "What do you want?" He said, "Sir, I'm lost. Can you take me home?" Well, that immediately felt wrong. It was late, he was alone, and there was nobody else visible anywhere nearby. I just asked, where are your parents? He answered, "I'm lost and I just want to go home." Something about him was off. I looked at him again, and then I did a double take. His eyes were white. Not just around the edges, not pale, not cloudy, completely white. There was no iris, no pupil, nothing but a solid wall of white in both eyes. Speed? Yeah. I'd have a need for speed if I saw the white-eyed kid. For some reason, and I still cannot explain it, I felt myself smiling slightly when I looked at him. It was almost as if I had drifted for a few seconds. And then my thoughts snapped back into place. It could not have been more than 3 seconds, but it felt longer. I said, "Sorry, no, kid. I have to go." The moment I said it, I regretted answering at all. "But you have to take me," he replied. I did not just hear his voice. I felt it. That's the only way I know how to explain it. His words echoed in my mind longer than they should have, as if they were being pushed into me instead of spoken aloud. I said, "No, kid, I have to go." This time he answered, "I'm lost, and I just want to go home." And there was something behind that voice that I cannot describe properly. It was not simply loud. It was as if someone had put his voice through a speaker system and made it resonate from inside his body. I felt this sudden forced sympathy for him, like I was being pushed to care, pushed to agree, and pushed to let him in. With what felt like the last bit of control I had left, I started the car and slammed on the accelerator. The instant I pulled away, he shouted, "No, take me with you!" And that hit me like a physical blast. It was like his voice turned into a machine gun, firing straight into my head. I sped towards the nearest exit in what felt like a dream state and drove off into the night. I did not even stop to think about my friend. At that point, he could find his own way home. As I drove out of the parking structure, I could still feel that voice inside of me, repeating, amplified, pressing into my thoughts, and it felt violent, invasive, and deliberate, as if every word and every tone was being forced deeper into my mind. When I finally got back into my apartment, I just tried to forget the whole thing. The next day I went to work as usual. My friend was there, annoyed that I had left him behind, but after a while, things went back to normal between us. I never told him what happened, and I never told anyone. But that same day, something else happened. On the drive home from work, there was a major thunderstorm. I saw repeated flashes of lightning, though I never actually saw any of it struck. When I got back to my apartment complex, I went to pull open the large metal door at the entrance. The whole thing was soaked in the rain. And that is when I noticed a handprint on it. It was about the height of a small child would place their hand. The print was white, and even though the door was dripping wet, the handprint looked like it had been made with paint, and that was only recently dried. I touched it and then looked up for a moment, checking my fingers to make sure I actually felt paint. I had. When I looked back down, the handprint had changed. In the brief second or two that I had looked away, it had gone from solid white to clear, as if the rain had suddenly begun soaking through it. I touched it again and still felt like paint, but now it was much wetter and more fluid. Then I looked again, and it was gone, completely gone. I put my hand over the exact spot that it had been, and there was nothing there except the cold metal door. For some reason, I turned around and looked behind me. There was nobody there. I went inside, walked up to my apartment, and turned in early that night. I've never encountered any other white-eyed children since then, and I've not had any other experience quite like it. But I do live more cautiously now. I've become more religious since that night. Before then, I really did not believe much in God, and now I occasionally read the Bible, and I've even thought about going to church. What happened changed me. I don't know what the child was. I don't know what I saw in my apartment door the next day. But I believe these beings may be real, and I believe they wait for the right opportunity. We got some notes from Lon here. It says, this account tracks closely with recurring elements of the black-eyed children lore, particularly the late-night approach, the request for transportation, the pressure to grant access, and the witness reporting an overpowering sense of dread mixed with compulsion. Yeah, he's right. The best-known modern account is Brian Bethel's 1996 Abilene, Texas report, which was also involved children approaching a parked vehicle at night and asking for a ride. Researchers and commentators disagree sharply, their interpretations with some treating these narratives as modern folklore and others viewing them as legitimate anomalous encounters. What makes this report particularly notable is the white-eyed presentation. In broader folklore and internet-era reporting, the dominant motif is black, fully darkened eyes. White-eyed variants do appear in paranormal discussion, but they're far less commonly referenced, which gives this report an unusual profile within the larger body of strange child encounter claims. The emotional tone is classic for this type of account: immediate unease, cognitive disruption, intrusive sympathy, and lingering psychological effect. From an investigative standpoint, the strongest theoretical possibilities usually proposed in such cases are an ultra-terrestrial or interdimensional mimic, a thought form or psychic intrusion event, or a folkloric fear narrative anchored to a real but misperceived encounter. The vanishing handprint pushes the report further from a straightforward misidentification into high strangeness territory. So there you go. White-eyed kid. Never heard of that before. I don't know. It's a strange one. But there you go. From phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Lon has thousands of encounter reports like this on a variety of topics. So go check it out. And I'm here to tell you, that has been the show. Anna Boleyn says, my friend's daughter opened her door to a black-eyed children. She freaked out, shut the door, and as they were yelling, let us in, they were hungry. Oh, that's creepy. Yeah, I'm glad she was able to shut the door again. Always look before you open the door. We're just a note to self. Do not blindly open your door for anything. That's going to wrap it up. Still time to answer the question of the week. Yes, you're right. Thank you, Rachel. If any of you are members of our Discord, Rachel put the link right up there. Is the link. Click the link or copy the link and go over and join Discord. You can do the question of the week. Tomorrow, I'll read them on the show. So until then, I guess you're going to have a hell of a day tomorrow. It's the weekend. Enjoy yourself, sleep in, relax, and have a great Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope you guys will join me then. So that's what we got tonight. But I guess that's it. Love you guys. I mean it. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. It's been wonderful to have so many people here. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go relax.